We're talking about Binance now having potentially further issues heaped upon it, the world's largest crypto exchange by volume, alleged to have been serving folks in Russia despite a whole raft of financial sanctions relating to the war in Ukraine. This one, could significantly harm Binance in the long run, but this report is now out saying that they have relationships with Russian customers, and that is potentially an issue should Binance want to remain in good standing the world over. So let's talk about this one. I'm going to throw it straight to Jen. What stood out to you from this report?
Well, if you read the report, there's this Russian businesswoman, probably like halfway in the report, who says that most people in Russia are familiar with cryptocurrency and use cryptocurrency. And I think the quote was everyone except her grandma. And I think when we look at these Western sanctions, it's obvious to see why so many people in Russia are looking at cryptocurrencies and using it to change their rubles into absolutely anything else. And so, yes, there are Western sanctions in Russia, but there are people who live there just like you and me who need money to do things. And so I can understand why Russians are looking for ways to change their fiat currency into crypto. Now, when we look at Binance, it's like probably the website is not available in Russia, but probably there are Russian people who have found ways to circumvent this. There was another Wall Street Journal article that came out earlier this month that spoke about China. Well, there's not sanctions for China, but crypto is just illegal in China. And it talked about how China is this $90 billion market for Binance. Obviously, the website is not available, but the Wall Street Journal viewed documents that showed Chinese users how to circumvent some of the things in place so that they would be able to use Binance. And so I am just waiting for more information here. It is a wait and see story for me. If Binance is outwardly showing people in a sanctioned jurisdiction how to take their currency and change it into crypto, I think that they are definitely going to run into issues with the regulators, but I'm just waiting to see if Binance responds to this more than what they've already said. Will?
Yeah, I think like the centerpiece of this is the peer-to-peer nature of what they're talking about here, like the peer-to-peer exchange of crypto assets. And Russian citizens, of course, who have no involvement with the war, why should they be penalized for this? Well, it's because they're Russian citizens, and like the banking system that they were using beforehand is being pressurized and squeezed from all sides. And so those Russian citizens are sort of caught in like this in-between zone. So crypto is a natural outlet for them. And I think it shows you the promise of crypto very shortly, just with that war going on. Interesting to get a thought from Binance on this. They told us, a spokesman for Binance told the Journal, the exchange follows global sanction rules, but they did not return a comment request from CoinDesk itself. I think this story just sort of follows up, though, in the eyes of politicians and regulators out there, in line with the SEC and the CFTC and others who are pushing against Binance right now. There's many open investigations and cases and lawsuits against Binance for their involvement in so many different aspects of the cryptocurrency market, from securities to working within the United States or other jurisdictions without licenses. And now you can just add to this list this open look into what's happening with people possibly using their platform for exchanging assets in a country that right now is sanctioned by the global West. Now, the question here, Jen, is like not necessarily like, is this a wait and see, but more of like, what is the reaction from politicians? Like, are they going to be, are they going to wait and see, or are they just going to make a decision and start going for it? And I could see them actually start pushing, especially on Capitol Hill, if we continue to see more issues with crypto and more bear market pressures and scams. Binance is a pretty easy target just because of the nature of its global business. Throw it back to you, Jen.
Yeah, I'm with you there, Will. I think you have Russia news, Binance evading Western sanctions, and then just a few weeks earlier, you have China news. I think that those are two things that I would be surprised if we didn't hear regulators talking about what's going on, especially given what's happening with Binance. So I'm right with you. Zach, what do you think?
Yeah, quite risky for Binance, right? Should this stuff, prove to be sort of demonstrably true. This is based on some analysis that I think the Journal enlisted from outside, blockchain sleuths, right? So, should this be a significant thing, this would be quite damning, I think, as it relates to how the U.S. Regulatory apparatus is kind of trying to crack down on Binance. So certainly would be growing list of pains that CZ is facing at the helm of Binance. From the stuff that we talk about all the time, from hopping from jurisdiction to jurisdiction, to again helping those who the financial system would not like to be served with the financial options that are available to other people. Like this is a pretty big one. So interesting to see what the more full response is from Binance. As noted, they've been pretty mum on the issue. Any final thoughts on this one, Will? Any history corner? You want to get history corner with us on this one?
History corner will be good. I mean, there's been great journalism from CoinDesk on this in the past. We've talked about the movements of funds between the Chinese and Russian border with Tether. I think that comes to play here. And then over the summer as well, there was a lot of interesting disputes or back and forth with some senior people at Binance leaving the firm. And then there's, of course, like the layoff of about 1,000 people. So Binance has certainly had a rocky 2023, but hard to pinpoint a crypto company that has not had a rocky 2023.